live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning and happy Tuesday. We're already at October the 8th, so we're going through this month of October.
I know. I just wish the weather would cooperate. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but we're going to go ahead and look outside with TransGuide this morning to start your day and see how the roads are looking so far. And that's a very nice shot there of 1604 at Judson Road. Looks like things are okay over there, and looking over to some of our busier areas, usually at Loop 410 at Blanco Road, but it looks like it's okay. The only thing I see on the website, Japhanie, I was looking at, and I don't know if that's still an issue, it was an accident that happened. Actually, that just cleared. I was looking at an accident at Bitters and 281, but that just cleared, so it looks like we are okay at this hour.
Yeah. That is one going on also on the roadways. Of course, we're going to keep our eyes open for that just as much as Mia is. Mia Montgomery is joining us with us this morning. Hey, man, where are these cool tips at?
Hey, at least mornings are going to start to be a little bit more fall-like over the next couple of days, but we're still going to have to wait when it comes to cooler afternoon high temperatures. 90s in the forecast this afternoon, and that's going to continue all the way in and out of the upcoming weekend. Let's get you a look at current conditions outside right now, though. You saw with live cam, there's another shot right there. Beautiful sunshine in place. We started off this morning in the upper 60s here in San Antonio. There were parts of the hill country that actually managed to dip down into the upper 50s. Because of that sunshine, though, we are warming up nicely now at 72 degrees here in the Alamo City, 74 over in Seguin. Good morning to in Bernie as well as Kerrville. Hill country temperatures more to the tune of the low to mid 60s right now. Again, plenty of sunshine in store, but record challenging warmth. 95 the forecast high temperature. If that verifies, it will tie the existing record of 95 set back in the 1960s. The big story on the weather scale nationally is, of course, Hurricane Milton. As of the 7 a.m. update, it is a Category 4 hurricane, the center of which just north of the Yucatan Peninsula. This is going to continue working northeast, no impacts to Texas, but it is expected to make landfall near the Tampa Bay area late tomorrow night and into early Thursday. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. As she just mentioned, right now, all eyes are on Hurricane Milton.
Let's go ahead and get right out to CNN's Ivan Rodriguez right now. He's in Tampa with the latest on the storm and evacuation efforts.
Officials have been pleading with millions of people to get out and get out now. Today really is that final full day people have to evacuate before conditions begin to deteriorate. Right here, people are filling up sandbags in Davis Island. And after they're done here, many people tell me they also plan on evacuating.
This is literally catastrophic. And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Dire warning from the mayor of Tampa as authorities beg people to evacuate ahead of Hurricane Milton.
This hurricane's pushing me out.
Many heeding the message. Florida highways have been crammed with what some state officials expect could be the largest evacuation since 2017's Hurricane Irma. For some, like Sheila Loquisano, this hurricane arrives as they're still trying to clean up from Hurricane Helene less than 2 weeks ago.
Helene was, it was a nightmare. I stayed. The whole island, all the islands around us have struggled.
This time, Sheila's not taking any chances.
It's not going to be easy to leave, but I am leaving.
The storm is projected to weaken and make landfall as a Category 3 near the Tampa area on Wednesday, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Its dangerous eye and eye wall could come ashore anywhere from Cedar Key in the north to Naples in the south.
Been to the point where I'm literally looking at every item in our home and deciding, do I take it or do I leave it? And the thought of it just floating in the water somewhere, it's really hard to bear.
Tampa's International Airport closed this morning. Sarasota's will close this afternoon and won't reopen until after Hurricane Milton passes. There are also multiple shelters that are open, and in some cases, people are even being given transportation to get to those shelters safely. Live in Tampa, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Thank you, CNN's Ivan Rodriguez. And now to a story that we've been following since yesterday morning, the mauling death of a 1-year-old boy in Converse by a group of dogs. Now, we have learned from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office that Jariah Johnson was immediately rushed to BAMC after the attack before being airlifted to University Hospital. Now, deputies say that is where the boy tragically passed away last night. Our Devin Karp was at University Hospital where he has the latest information on this tragic case.
That 1-year-old boy has been identified as Jariah Johnson. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says 36-year-old Heather Rodriguez was in charge of watching Jariah when he was staying at her home in the dogs attack. They say at some point, Rodriguez left her home, putting her 13-year-old daughter in charge. During that time, deputies say the dogs forced their way into the room the child was in and attacked the baby for an unknown reason. The sheriff's office says the team tried to protect the baby, but were told that there was a struggle, given that the dogs were XL bullies, a pit bull mix. That's a very strong breed. Sheriff Javier Salazar says Rodriguez is in custody but not cooperating with detectives.
My understanding is that these dogs, there has been a dog attack episode here involving these dogs at this residence before. My understanding is that the owner was cited at that time.
As the sheriff mentioned, this is not the first time deputies have visited Rodriguez's home. Back in April, the same dogs were barking and growling at a neighbor, preventing him from getting out of his car. Rodriguez was cited at that time for not having her dogs on leashes. A nearby neighbor KSAT spoke with yesterday says he had heard the dogs growling in the backyard before, but didn't think it could lead to this.
That's a tragedy. That's truly a tragedy. I didn't know that at first I thought they had a 1-year-old from what I read and heard. And now I'm hearing that it wasn't even theirs. That's a shame.
Animal Control Services Interim Director Michael Shannon says many cases like this are easily preventable. That's why he says his department is trying to hold animal owners accountable with citations. ACS says it's very important to spay or neuter your dogs you can, as well as making sure that they are properly restrained and leashed. We've got a link for you with some of those resources on our website, KSAT.com. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
And we will be keeping an eye on this story throughout the day, and we'll keep you posted on air and online on KSAT.com.
All right, here's today's 9 at 9.
On Capitol Hill, the Supreme Court is back on the bench with an agenda that includes cases on guns, transgender medical care, and more. Today, the court will hear arguments on ghost guns, which are untraceable weapons made from mail-order kits, and whether the ATF has the authority to regulate and require them to have serial numbers. The court's term will run through the end of next summer.
Vice President Kamala Harris was pressed on issues including the Middle East, Ukraine, and the economy during a one-on-one interview with 60 Minutes. During the interview, Harris promised to follow through with tax breaks for first-time home buyers and small business owners.
Former President Donald Trump hosted Jewish community leaders in Miami yesterday. He blamed the Hamas attack on the current administration. Trump is also critical of the Biden administration's response to Hurricane Helene.
Stock markets are starting the week off with a slip down. This comes as traders watch everything from Hurricane Milton to Google. Economists are also digesting the stronger than expected jobs report. That puts another damper on hopes for another big interest rate cut next month.
Cissy Houston, best known for being the mother of music legend Whitney Houston, has passed away after a battle with Alzheimer's disease. Apart from her very talented family, she also worked with many iconic musical legends in the music industry. She was 91 years old.
If you own a Ram truck, listen up. Chrysler is recalling over 129,000 of its MyRam 1500 pickups that were built in 2023. There's an issue with the steering column control module in these vehicles. Officials say the glitch could cause drivers to wrongly signal for a lane change. Repairs will be made free of charge.
Samsung is apologizing for earnings that came in under expectations in the quarter ending in September, just under $6.8 billion. The company is facing increasing competition in its computer chip business.
Google is now under orders from a federal judge to overhaul how Android users get their apps. The judge ordering Google to rethink the Play Store to allow greater competition. A federal jury last year found that Google monopolizes access to apps on Android. Google has promised an appeal.
And several reports say that Panera Bread has reached its first settlement over its highly caffeinated charged lemonade drinks. At least 2 people died after drinking them. No word on the terms. And that's today's 9 at 9.
All right, it is now 9:07. We're looking at 72 degrees outside. And Steph, we still got a lot more ahead on GMSA.
Yeah, stay with us. And right now we're going to take a live look out there at Naples Beach, Florida. Over there, looks like there's a little bit of rain coming down in this shot at this time.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's 9/11. Well, a Mega Millions ticket is going to cost you a bit more next year. So prices are going up to $5 now, guys.
But get this, it's the topic of the megaphone poll that you see right there. It's going on there on your screen. We want to know, will you still play Mega Millions at $5 for a ticket? You can vote right now, ksat.com/poll.
Wow, it's like an overwhelming response right now.
It was like, no. You know good and well them jokers going to be buying them tickets. They're going to be like,
think so.
I got $5 now. But I think it's going to be, it encompasses a whole lot of deals in that $5. So it's not all bad, all right?
Yeah. Oh, look at Japanese, like you. You made the poll move. So, it's going to probably keep changing, but we're going to keep you updated later in the newscast for sure.
An interesting topic, nonetheless. Something else that I think all of the United States is really keeping close eyes on, an interesting topic in the weather world, is, of course, Hurricane Milton. To go from tropical storm status to Category 5 hurricane status within a period of 24 hours. Rapid intensification. Here is the latest again. This is as of the 7 a.m. update. We'll get one in at the top of the 10 a.m. hour. Maximum sustained winds at 145 miles per hour. And you may be asking, okay, what is a Category 4, which does make it a Category 4 hurricane, by the way. It was a Category 5 hurricane late last night, but has since weakened ever so slightly. And that, you may be wondering, okay, so what classifies a hurricane as Category 4 versus 5 versus 3? I know there's a lot of numbers being flying out there on social media as well. Well, that is all thanks to the Saffir-Simpson scale, which is based on hurricanes, sustained wind speeds, and that actually estimates potential property damage. So a Category 4 hurricane is when you have sustained wind speeds in the 130 to 156 mile per hour range. By the way, when Milton was a Category 5, it did have sustained winds upwards of 180 miles per hour at times. That is well above the smaller threshold of 157, the bottom threshold there of the Cat 5 status. And it is possible that it re-strengthens into a Category 5 hurricane this afternoon before working its way farther up to the north as well as the east into our Wednesday. It is still expected to weaken ever so slightly, though, as it does approach the state of Florida. It is expected to make landfall near the Tampa Bay area by late Wednesday night and into early Thursday as that major Category 3 status, working over the peninsula of Florida and then eventually into the western Atlantic by the end of the day on Thursday and into Friday. Of course, storm surge, a very real concern with this particular hurricane. This is the latest when it comes to the projected peak storm surge levels from the National Hurricane Center. From Spring Hill down to Tampa, 5 to 10 feet possible. From Tampa down to Fort Myers, 10 to 15 feet of storm surge above ground level will be a possibility. And to tack on to that, also the flooding rain concern as well. By the time all is said and done, rainfall totals in the range of 5 to even 10 inches will be a possibility. Localized 15 inches also something to monitor, again, in localized locations. So, of course, we will continue to keep you posted on this hurricane over the next several days with additional developments, especially if you have friends or family out there in Florida as well. But in the meantime, back here at home in San Antonio and across the state of Texas, unfortunately, we're not expecting any rain over the next 7 days. Very dry conditions. Hotter than average daytime highs will continue, but at least morning lows will be a little bit more comfortable out there, especially by tomorrow. We've got plenty of sunshine for as far as the eye can see right now here in San Antonio. 72 degrees officially over at the airport. We will continue all of that sunshine into the afternoon. 92 expected by 2 o'clock this afternoon. We've got a forecast high right around 95. And again, if that verifies, that will tie the existing record high for the day that was set back in 1962. So this is record challenging warmth for early October. If you're stepping out for any Tuesday evening plans, we'll start to see those temperatures fall into the 80s, especially after the sun goes down. But across the board, low to mid 90s are expected later on today. 94 out east in Gonzales, 91 in Bernie, 95 the forecast high in Rio Medina. Now, dew points right now, how we measure that low level moisture in the atmosphere, not too bad. They're in the 50s, but I think they could drop even more so as we start to see another round of drier air work in, especially by tomorrow. And that carries over into the second half of the work week and even into next weekend as well. So the thing about dry air is it does allow our afternoon temperatures to warm up pretty efficiently, especially when you combine it with all of that sunshine. So that's why we are expecting 90s to continue all the way into the weekend. But on the flip side of things, with clear skies in place through the overnight, it also helps our morning lows fall. So low to mid 60s return, a couple of mornings to get out and really enjoy a more refreshing fall-like feel. Very much looking forward to it. And that's what I think we have to look forward to, considering it's still going to be hot in the afternoons and we don't have any rain chances for now.
It's okay. You know, we, like I said, we're taking it. We can deal with it day at a time.
It's baby steps,
baby
right?
steps.
Baby steps. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Enjoy the mornings for the meantime, though. We will.
So now it's time to head out to our friends over at SA Live right now.
Yes.
I'm hot, Daphne. Well, you know, it's the perfect pairing, kind of like GMSA at 9 and SA Live. All right, we're talking tacos.
We like your sign there.
And tequila. Tacos and tequila, baby. And joining us right now is Angel Benitez with Sologist. And there is a towering event happening in a few weeks, right?
Yes,
at
that's
Tower of Americas.
Tacos and Tequila on October 19th. We're gonna have lots of tacos, lots of tequila, 31 different vendors, and prizes and giveaways.
Oh, I want to go to this event.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and we have an example right over there.
Yes, that's our Ghost Tequila. Very good tequila. They actually do the only reposado tequila spicy on the market.
Well, we like things spicy. Yes.
Definitely.
And that is an example of just one of the things that you can win at the event. We're going to tell you more about that in the show. But right now, we've got Jen, Java Jen, I should say, over at a
Hey, yes, okay, you guys got tequila. I've got a pumpkin matcha drink right here, and we are at Kiki's Coffee and Spirits, where they are giving us a sample of the new fall menu. Kiki, the cute little dog, will make an appearance too. And then we're going next door for some fall hair trends. It's all connected here, so we are excited to share that. Cheers.
Jen, all right, and October. Oh yeah, you know who that is. Hannibal. Okay, anyway, it is the month for horror flicks, and you know what? The KSAT staff shared their individual top picks for their scariest movie. So wait till you see those, and of course our resident film enthusiast, John Marr, has a roundup of the scary movies this month. And that brings us to our social question
of the day. What is your favorite scary movie? I'm not a scary movie girl. So you know.
Scan that QR code and you may see your answer later on in the show.
Welcome back. It's 9:22. Well, Mega Millions ticket again is going to cost you a bit more next year. It is changing from $2 per play to $5, and it's a topic of our megaphone poll this morning. You can see it's going right down here on your screen.
It's changing. So we want to know, will you still play Mega Millions at $5 for a ticket? You can vote right now, ksat.com/the poll.
And our Benitez is staying on top of the story and joins us right now. So Wiki, tell us about this little price increase.
Good morning. Yes, let's talk about it. Mega Millions ticket prices are starting to go up in April 2025 under a new proposal from the Texas Lottery Commission. Now, the national game, which is sold in 45 states, is making the change to create bigger and more frequent jackpots. The lead director of the Mega Millions Consortium says they expect more billion-dollar payouts, good for us, than ever before. The new $5 ticket comes with a built-in multiplier, boosting non-jackpot wins by 2 times, 3 times, or even 10 times, meaning a $10 million win for matching all 5 white balls. Now, other changes include no more break-even prizes, so winners will always get back more than what they spend on the cost of the ticket, and some bigger starting jackpots that grow faster than ever before. Now, in 2020, 2023 alone, Mega Millions generated over $440 million in sales. And since January of this year, the game has already sold $246 million worth of tickets in sales, jumping up 33% in just 1 week in September. Now, after paying out prizes and covering expenses, most of the remaining funds go to the Foundation School Program, which supports public education. Now, the added revenue doesn't change per student funding. It just means less dependence on general revenue funding. Now, the last time that the Mega Millions adjusted its prices was 2017. That was like 7 years ago, guys. Wow. And since then, 1,200 players have become millionaires, an average of 3 per week. Now, remember, these changes won't happen again, or won't happen until next year in April. So don't be surprised when you have to fork over a little bit more next year. And now let's take a look at the poll. How's it changed?
Yeah, more people are saying no.
I don't think I want to pay more.
What do y'all think?
I mean, I'm just saying, I think with everything going up, everybody's going to be spending something.
$2 is reasonable, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think somebody could easily justify, this jackpot got huge. Let me go. I got $2. I got $5.
I have $6. I can do 3 plays, but
and then
to
you
do
don't have
$15.
You don't have to do the extra mega player money, and it automatically, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, I don't really play anyway, like on my own.
Right.
But I do have FOMO, which is like fear of missing out. So if there's somebody here at work that's like collecting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be a part of it. You don't want to be the only one that's not part of it.
I want to jump in when it's $1 billion or more. Yeah. Other than that, don't call me.
Gotcha.
I got you.
But very interesting here with the poll. A big 77% saying no so far.
It's a big difference.
Hey, it's okay. More chances for me. No, I'm kidding. All right, it is 9:25 right now, guys. 72 degrees outside.
We have a lot more coming ahead on GMSA at 9.
Taking a live look right now. This is Naples Beach, Florida. Of course, they're dealing with a lot of anticipation regarding Hurricane Milton. Let's go out to TransGuide really quick. Looking at the traffic right now. Traffic is moving along just fine. Loop 1604 and Lookout Road. You're looking great. We'll keep you guys updated with all of the things that we have to do and throughout the show coming up.
Welcome back. It's 9:30. Well, a San Antonio police officer who resigned from the department and was later stripped of his peace officer's license moved on to land the job as public safety director of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo.
Now, as questions swirl around the hiring of ex-officer Jonathan Griffin, KSAT Investigates uncovered video from the scene that led to him being scrutinized and later charged by law enforcement.
72, saying 374. 374, homie.
And while the footage recorded throughout that night shows Griffin repeatedly hand over bills to other officers or place them in an evidence envelope himself, it also shows the officer put a floral clutch purse containing a large amount of money in the passenger door storage area of an SAPD patrol vehicle, where it would remain as the scene continued to unfold. An hour after Griffin placed the clutch in the storage compartment, his footage shows it no longer appeared to be there. San Antonio Police Internal Affairs that fall began probing why a woman's purse at the scene did not make it into their evidence room. And while officials did not confirm that the floral bag was the item in question, Griffin resigned from the force that December while under investigation. In August 2022, Griffin was indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts of felony tampering with evidence. Last year, he pleaded no contest to a reduced charge of misdemeanor abuse of official capacity, and in exchange for his plea, was given 2 years deferred adjudication and agreed to permanently surrender his Texas peace officer's license. Griffin, according to court records, was discharged early from his community supervision this May.
75 years of history.
Despite Griffin's legal entanglement, he landed on his feet as the director of public safety for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Members of law enforcement contacted KSAT asking how Griffin, out of all the former officers in the area, acquired the role. They aren't the only ones raising questions.
Just by the very nature of the crime, when we discuss misdemeanors, especially for somebody in a law enforcement position, it's serious. I believe,
So our very own Dylan Collier worked on this story with KSAT Investigates. He joins us right now.
Hey, Dylan, thanks for joining us this morning. What were the circumstances that led to Griffin resigning from the department and then later being indicted?
Yeah, he was accused of concealing a purse that contained several $1,000s. Internal Affairs began looking into the incident, and Griffin resigned. He was then indicted on felony tampering charges and took a plea deal last year to a lesser charge of misdemeanor abuse of official capacity.
So tell us, what have other officers in the rodeo said about this hiring?
Well, that's how the story came to us in the first place. We had officers who do work for the rodeo reach out to us, that they were aware of Griffin's history and were uncomfortable with him being in a leadership position. A spokesman for the rodeo told us they were aware of the past misdemeanor in Griffin's history, and they don't believe it impacts his qualifications or ability to serve in his current role there.
Wow, very interesting, but at least it came to your attention.
Yes.
And then I understand we're going to look at this tonight on the Night Beat. So it's an in-depth look at the body camera footage that led to Griffin first being investigated.
Thanks so much, Dylan, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dylan. We'll also look online for the story. And time now is 9:33. Let's look out there with live cam this morning. 72 degrees, so it's still tolerable, I would say, as far as the heat goes.
Yes, most definitely. But even into this afternoon, our unseasonably hot temperature trend continues. Record challenging warmth, not just this afternoon, but into tomorrow as well. I think we could shave off a few degrees, though, by this weekend. Still low 90s, but again, the mornings are really where you're going to start to notice lower humidity on tap, especially by tomorrow. More on that in just a second. Let's get you a look at your pollen count for this Tuesday. Good news, ragweed falls now in the low category at 90. Molds are also present, but they are low as well at 200. 72 degrees right now in San Antonio after starting off our morning in the upper 60s. 66 right now in Kerrville, 72 in Uvalde, 79 the current temperature over in New Braunfels, so warming up pretty quickly out there in New Braunfels. Plenty of sunshine expected into this afternoon. Again, that forecast high around 3 to 4 p.m., 95 degrees in San Antonio. That also is about 10 degrees above the average for this time of year. So again, 90s will continue over the next several days, but those mornings will be more fall-like and pleasant to step out to, especially by tomorrow morning as we start to see humidity levels drop. Low to mid 60s back in the forecast. We'll have another check at that. Plus, of course, Hurricane Milton in the south central Gulf of Mexico right now as a major hurricane. No impacts to Texas, but it will impact Florida starting tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Mia. Let's head out to TransGuide real quick, taking a look at our cameras outside. Of course, at I-35 and Palo Alto, everything looking okay, but we do have some activity going on KSAT, right, Steph?
Yeah, it looks like on the website, it's looking like there's a minor crash off of Couples and Highway 90, although I have to say I did see our cameras roll through that area, and it looks like traffic is moving, so this accident happened about 8:56 a.m., so maybe that cleared. It is still on the TxDOT website, so that's just something to be aware of. It just looks like things are moving right now. And there was another minor crash reported off of Loop 410. This is around I-410 and I-10 South. Excuse me, Loop 410 South and I-10. And oh, maybe this is what it is. Thank you, RJ. RJ pulled it up on the screen for us. This is also coming down. So yeah, definitely be aware. There's a couple of lanes blocked right there in this area.
All right, in South Texas, cancer is a big issue, especially among Latinos.
And our Stefania Jimenez introduces us to a man diagnosed with advanced stage cancer years ago, and now he's cancer-free.
For 72-year-old Willie Durazo, it's the little things, like laughing, sharing a walk with his wife, or meeting new people that he enjoys most. He can't take those things for granted. In 2021, Willie got sick. He was dealing with stomach pain, which he attributed to diverticulitis. He thought his large intestine was acting up again. His doctor ran tests and then told Willie something he never thought he'd hear.
You got cancer.
What went through your mind?
I wasn't feeling bad. It's the whole thing. I've got cancer, but it can't be that bad. It's what I'm thinking.
Willie was diagnosed with stage 4 diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, a type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The cancer had spread to his abdomen, pelvis, lungs, renal glands, and lymph nodes. His doctor told him without treatment, he had just weeks to live. So Willie didn't waste time.
I told the doctor, I said, well, what can we do? He says, we can get to work on it right away. I said, let's rock and roll.
After months of tests, 6 rounds of chemo, and 18 rounds of radiation, with his loving family at his side, by 2022, Willie got a clean bill of health.
I have one great partner. And she kept me laughing through the whole time.
And you are now cancer-free.
I'm cancer-free.
Looking back, Willie's wife Joy owes that to their support system. Between their doctors and Willie's family, friends, and neighbors, the Durasos had all the help they needed.
If I had, get emotional, it's because of all the angels out there. And we had a lot of costs that we had to pay during that period of time. And they came through. I mean, everywhere. That's what I can't get over still.
Now, Willie looks forward to enjoying himself with his kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. He wants people to know that cancer isn't a death sentence, but if you don't feel well, you should see a doctor.
It may not be cancer, it may be something else, but at least you're going to know it's what it is.
Stefania Jimenez, KSAT 12 News.
And happening today, our Stefania Jimenez will be hosting a town hall, so she will speak with a panel of experts about the new facility, how it will help cancer patients and their families, and the growing rate of cancer among Latinos. Now, it's all starting today at 2 p.m. This is on KSAT.com, so be sure to tune in for Revolutionizing Cancer Care for South Texans, a new era of treatment.
All right, the Silver and Black were back on the court last night for their first preseason game.
Well, RJ Marcus is back to break it all down, and also a reminder about a big soccer match this weekend in San Antonio. That's right. Hi,
That's
RJ.
right, guys. Yes, we got football Americano, but we're going to talk about obviously the Spurs, the Silver and Black. Stephon Castle showing out for the Spurs fans with an awesome dunk. But first of all, let's talk about the Clásico Regio. We are just days away from that. This is a big-time soccer match taking place at the Alamo Dome between Tigres and Rayados, and we want y'all to be there. So go ahead and take your phone out, scan the QR code that you see on your screen, because we're going to be hosting a sweepstakes for KSAT insiders to win tickets for this match taking place Saturday. Again, this is a major rivalry in Mexico, pitting Monterrey's two teams, Tigres and Rayados, against one another. So Regio, by the way, stands for Royals. So we're going to be getting some royalty up in here this Saturday at the Dome. So KSAT insiders can enter for a chance to win 4 tickets to that game, but you have to be a KSAT insider. It's super easy to sign up. All you got to do is share your email address, and this sweepstakes is now open. It runs until tomorrow, so get ready for some golazos here in the Alamo City. All right, now to the Spurs. The Silver and Black opening up their preseason against the Oklahoma City Thunder inside the Frostbank Center. Look at my guy, Chris Paul here. He looks like he's in deep thought looking at this roster out there on the court. Right next to him, we saw Victor Wembanyama, but they didn't play yesterday. Among 6 Spurs players that didn't suit up, Pop saying, though, that he expects at least Wemby to play tomorrow. So, former NBA champion, new Spurs forward Harrison Barnes making his debut right there. First quarter, Barnes with the give and go sees Julian Champagnie open in the corner. Champagnie buries it 6-3 from long range. But third quarter, y'all, this was the highlight of the game. Look, even got my man Keldon Johnson up off his feet. The rook, Stephon Castle, throws it down. Send it in, young man. My dude making KJ jump off his seat. Castle played 18 minutes, scored 5 points with 3 assists. Love to see the aggressiveness here from Stephon Castle going to the rack, posterizing that OKC player right there. I love it right here. So he did have 6 turnovers in that game yesterday. I'm sure CP3 is definitely going to help out with that. Keldon scored 8 points. Jeremy Sohan scored 9 points, both in limited minutes. Here's what the squad had to say about their opener.
One preseason down, 4 to go. Big difference between the first and the second. I thought we were we weren't very physical. We kind of followed them around. I thought they were more aggressive. Their physicality was better in the first half, and we changed that in the second half.
The first half, it was kind of like you haven't played in a long time. You're trying to figure out. A lot of guys go in, their legs are a little heavier. Pop got mad, so that also changes a lot of stuff. So in the second half, we came out there and played more physical.
Playing more physical. The offensive end of the floor would take care of itself. Obviously, we have guys who didn't play today who are big offensive scorers. So that'll take care of itself. We'll get in the rhythm with that.
I love Pop. He's just like 1 game down, 4 more to go. You can see he just wants to go get dinner and a glass of wine at this point. I was like, get me out of here. I don't want to do this preseason stuff anymore.
It's a relax.
Yeah, but hey, you know what, Stephon Castle, we're going to see them back on the court tomorrow night against the Orlando Magic at the Bank. They tip off here 7 o'clock tomorrow. So again, yesterday's score, 112-107. Spurs loses, one Julian Champagny, 22 points. And Sandro Mamushvili, yes, Sandro Mamushvili.
Good job, RJ.
Sandro Mamushvili.
Close enough. 14 points. And again, we're expected to see the big fella back in silver and black tomorrow. Wemby, year 2 will officially be underway after, of course, he had that summer with Team France out there in the Olympics, had a great run to the end of his rookie year. Rookie of the year. Cannot wait to see Victor Wembanyama.
And he said he was working out, too.
Yeah, he's been hitting the plates. I think he said he gained about 20 pounds over the offseason. So, yeah, hopefully that's mostly muscle and not like the...
No, not brisket tacos.
Yeah. You know, for all of our people, this makes me feel good because that score was actually very close.
Yeah, it was.
So it's not that bad of a score.
And then we got to see some guys that we might see in Austin, the Austin Spurs, some of those guys get some playing time. But for me, I was most interested to see how Stephon Castle's going to look because he will be playing. Devin Vassell not going to be starting the season out with the Spurs, and also KJ, Jeremy Sohan. Just want to make sure those guys are getting into their groove.
Gotcha.
Mamushvili.
Sandro Mamushvili.
There you go.
Mamushvili. Or Mamu. Or his first name basis, Sandro. My friend Sandro.
It is 9:43, guys. 72 degrees outside.
Well, let's take a live look out there again at Naples Beach, Florida. We saw a little rain or a little raindrops there on the Linz earlier. Of course, people there bracing for Hurricane Milton.
Now, let's head out to Zoo Camp. Look at our flamingos and their two little friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are those? Have we ever identified them yet? Are they cranes?
I couldn't tell you.
Come on.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
See, I look at you because you're like the scientist of the group, and you looked at me like you had an answer.
Hey, I wish I was a zoologist.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I can identify the flamingos because they're pink.
Pink, yeah. Pink and a little
Not
tall.
to state the obvious or anything, but yeah, the other ones I don't have an answer.
I don't know. I think it is some type of crane, but maybe somebody will message us or send us an email.
Let us know.
Help us out. So they are dealing with 72 degrees right now outside.
Not bad.
Not bad yet. But they might want to take a dip in the water.
Yeah, they're going to be in the
later.
shade this afternoon. I have a feeling they're going to stay in the shade because, yes, warmer than average, record challenging high temperatures today, tomorrow, 90s all the way into the weekend. But, you know, the little silver lining here, the glass half full kind of look is at least mornings are going to be really nice.
That's good.
So that's good to kind of step out to get your day started. Cup of coffee, you know, it's going to feel a little bit more like fall, low to mid 60s. Let's talk again about Milton because that is the big story today, and that is going to continue to be the big story over the next several days, especially considering parts of Florida are still recovering from Helene that made landfall almost 2 weeks ago. So it is worth reiterating that Texas is not going to see any impacts from Hurricane Milton. This is moving east through the south central Gulf of Mexico. The center of Milton right now, just to the north of the Yucatan Peninsula, again, winds are sustained at 145 miles per hour. It is a Category 4 hurricane right now, and it is working off to the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour. But we were talking earlier in the newscast, Milton went from a tropical storm status to a Category 5 hurricane within a time period of about 24 hours. And one of the reasons it was able to strengthen so quickly and rapidly is because it's feeding off of these warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico. Water temperatures right now in the low to mid 80s, and that continues even into the eastern Gulf. So it is possible that Milton re-intensifies into that Category 5 status this afternoon. But as it encounters a little bit of drier air across the eastern Atlantic, the good news is that it is expected to weaken a little bit. Still going to be a very dangerous and powerful major hurricane, though, by the time it approaches the Tampa Bay area and the Gulf coastline of Florida. Again, that taking place late tomorrow night and into early Thursday. Then it's going to cross over the peninsula, move into the far western Atlantic, but likely keeping at least a hurricane status as it does move over the peninsula. You can see now, actually, we just got a new update in that hurricane warnings have been extended even into Florida's east coast near Orlando, Palm Bay, Tampa, Sarasota, dealing with those hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings farther off to the south near the Florida Keys. So we'll, of course, continue to keep you posted on Milton. I do want to check elsewhere in the Atlantic basin off of the coast of Florida. So on the east side, there's another little disturbance that just has a 20% chance of tropical development over the next week. That is moving away from Florida, so no big issues there. Tropical storm Leslie in the central Atlantic, that does not pose a threat to the lower 48, so good news as well. And then there's another area that's being flagged by the National Hurricane Center off the coast of Africa, a potential tropical disturbance moving that way, but just a low 20% chance as well. So meanwhile, back here at home, we are expecting relatively a quiet weather forecast here over the next several days. The big theme, hotter than average afternoon highs, but pleasant fall-like mornings. Back in the forecast right now, temperatures in the 70s for most of us, still holding on to the 60s. Up into the hill country for places like Kerrville as well as Comfort. Plenty of sunshine in store today. 88 degrees expected around lunchtime. That forecast high in the mid-90s. About 10 degrees above average for this time of year. 95 here in San Antonio. And then if you're stepping out for any Tuesday evening plans, 87 by 8 p.m. We'll continue to see those temperatures fall into the low 80s shortly after that. Low to mid-90s will be a common theme in and around the San Antonio area. I mentioned we are expecting humidity levels to drop ever so slightly. There's a weak frontal boundary off to our north. You can see that dew points are even lower behind that boundary. It's going to start to seep its way farther off to the south throughout the remainder of this Tuesday and into tomorrow. Winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere start to move in from the north, helping that drier air mass work into south central Texas. So you can see how that affects our forecast. Again, unfortunately, no rain chances in sight, which we could really use right now, but high temperatures still in the low to mid 90s for the foreseeable future. Lows back into the 60s. There are early indications that we could potentially see a more noticeable front move in next week. If so, maybe a few high temperatures below the 90-degree mark, but it's still a ways away. We still need to see if we can find consistency in those trends, but it's just something to check back in on in the days ahead.
All right, we are patiently waiting.
We are, yes, we are. Thank you for being patient. That too.
Thank you, Mia.
And we're patiently waiting for our friends over at SA Live right now. You guys always have something up your sleeves.
We do. Yes, we do. Even when we don't have sleeves, we do. All right.
Always
it is
something.
a Taco Tuesday for SA Live, and we have a big event to taco about.
Get it, Taco Bell, right? And here with us is Eric Pearson, here to talk to us about the Tequila and Tacos event. Hi, Eric.
Hi, how you doing
What
today?
are we making today?
We're making today, we have our pork al pastor tacos, our shrimp Yucatan pasta tacos, and we have chicken al carbon tacos, and we have barbacoa tacos.
Now, these are going to be at the Tequila and Tacos event?
Yes, at the event we have 3 taco stands.
Okay.
It's all included with the purchase of your ticket. We have also past apps we'll be having also, enchilada meatballs, taquitos, chicken taquito tacos, and jalapeno cheddar bites.
So bring your appetite,
Yes.
right? Okay. And besides these fabulous tacos at the festival, you are going to have those fabulous salsas.
Yes, this is
walk us through that.
This is 4 of our few salsas we have. We have about 8 salsas on the display. We have the tomatillo and avocado salsa, smoky tomato and chipotle salsa, pineapple jalapeno salsa, and a fire roasted salsa rojo.
Okay, and is that a mango mix?
And that's a mango mix. That'll be on the bar also.
All right.
Looks
Chef,
delicious.
which one is the hottest one there?
The hottest one, I don't really do spicy, but between these 2 right here, the smoky tomato and chipotle. There is a spicier one. We have a jalapeno creamy ranch that we'll be having also, but there's a lot more.
Okay, can you grab that tomatillo one real quick for me?
Uh-oh. That's the spicy one?
It might be.
Okay,
Let's see. It's either this one or the next one, okay? And besides that, you guys have elote bars and beer burros, right?
Yes, this year we're adding 3 elote bars. Last year we had an elote bar just for show and informed us online. So
Did really well?
Did really well. Got overwhelmed with it, so we're coming back with 3 this year.
Say, I'm coming prepared this time.
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yes.
I immediately
What is
regret
it?
this decision.
Oh, see, it's clearing out our sinuses though. That's what I always say with the spiciness.
We made it yesterday. They said it would be spicier today.
Oh, there
It's got a kick. It's cleared everything out right here.
I'm gonna trust your judgment.
Okay. Now you have been a chef for 30 years.
30 years.
Wow, and you want to be a chef since you were little, right? What was it?
When I was little, I was a fireman, but now I ended up being a chef.
Okay. Oh, so did you cook at the station?
No. I was I started in cooking and I just stayed with it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what we're seeing right now, it looks like it's going to be delicious. It looks like you made the right decision.
Mm-hmm. And this is all about bringing the city to the tower, right?
Yes, we have a lot of events coming in. We always try to bring people back downtown to the tower with food and drink.
All right, well,
This
we're
is
going to
a
have
treat.
even more. We're going to hit the drinks here in a little bit on the show. So more SA Live is just minutes away.